निवासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते.
The gang is putting Hindus too much into guilt trip. No, there are nuances to that side as well. I'll argue that. But let me first show you. Let me do a bit of a self-promotion first, because I want you all to be very clear on my argument here. Because my argument mainly is that people are taking sides in this thing, or people are seemingly on two different sides because their egos are coming into play a little bit, I would argue. Because on the main 3-4 questions on casteism, Desai Deepak, Kushal Mehra, Abhijit Iyer Mitra don't have a disagreement. That is my argument, okay? So please just check my argument first, and then I'll show you how Desai Deepak is absolutely what I was claiming he is, or his views are. And therefore, the people who are starting to dislike him because of his casteist views are wrong, and people who are trying to support him and think he's a casteist hero for people who are in fact casteist, they are also wrong. They're stupid to think him to be their messiah, okay? So, the context is that someone, a very, very anti-caste person was commenting that, will you dare to comment on the Kushal Mehra Desai Deepak debate, okay? So I said, what's there to dare on this? And then I went ahead and made my point, okay? Check this out. I will dare to react to what? See, don't think that Desai Deepak, Kushal Mehra, or Abhijit Iyer Mitra are really on any huge different poles altogether, okay? All these people are basically are lost in a war of semantics and rhetorics, okay? Kushal Mehra and Abhijit Iyer Mitra have their ego to protect here. Desai Deepak has mistakenly considered all these conversations and discourses as an attack on specifically Brahmins or Hindus in general. The thing is, there are basically 2 or 3 factors that you can agree or disagree about. Did birth-based casteism exist? Does it exist today? Yes. All 3 of them agree, okay? Kushal Mehra, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Desai Deepak. Did bad things happen? Did atrocities happen because of these structures, these systems? I guarantee you, Desai Deepak agrees, Kushal Mehra agrees, Abhijit Iyer Mitra agrees. Were these bad behaviors done only and only by Brahmins? I guarantee you, Desai Deepak agrees. I guarantee you that all these 3 know that they were not done just by Brahmins. Kushal Mehra agrees with me, Abhijit Iyer Mitra agrees with me, Desai Deepak agrees with me that they were never done just by Brahmins. Where is the difference in their opinion? What's the debate about? What's the argument about? The problem is with this bullshit, ambiguous, hollow word called casteism, casteist. What do you mean by casteism today? What do you mean when you say that this place has casteism? This place had some casteist incident, okay? There we need to get some clarity. Today, basically discriminating against anyone on the basis of caste is illegal, right? If anyone, and is it really Desai Deepak's case or Abhijit Iyer Mitra's case or Kushal Mehra's case that these laws should go away, that people should be discriminated on the basis of caste? Again, I guarantee you that no. All 3 of them agree on this, okay? So, where is the casteism then happening? That is, some people are behaving badly against some people on the streets. Nowhere else. In offices you can't do it, okay? Unless you do it illegally. तो illegal काम तो हर जगह पे होता है, वो तो है ही. Illegal काम रोकने के लिए तुमको कोई entire जाति या entire वर्ण या entire देश या entire religion को गाली नहीं देना पड़ता है. Illegal काम हो रहा है, ढूंढो, जेल में भेजो बेंचों को. But where is then casteism happening? And does your criticism of casteism end up sounding like a criticism of just Brahmins, okay? There, these 3 people are just lost in a war of words and semantic, rhetoric and semantic, where I have no stake in. I know what these 3 agree on. I agree with these 3 people on exactly those same things. There is no basically disagreement here. So, for example, Sri Iyer's show, where Abhijit Iyer Mitra walked out, that's a problem with semantics basically. That entire episode went to hell because of semantics. Because Abhijit Iyer Mitra, since his education, he comes from a sort of a social science, arts background kind of reading books, whereas people from the STEM backgrounds, people like Sri Iyer, who are just not getting the rhetoric of Abhijit Iyer Mitra, who are not understanding exactly how precise Abhijit Iyer Mitra is being, they are not getting them, and both of them are fighting against each other. What was Sri Iyer saying and what was Abhijit Iyer Mitra saying? Abhijit Iyer Mitra was saying, if you are a Brahmin who says that no bad things happened, then I have a problem with you. Sham Sharma is a Brahmin. Kushal Mehra, I guess, is a Brahmin. I don't know. Do you think when he is abusing Brahmins, he is abusing Sham Sharma? Is he abusing Kushal Mehra? He is saying, if you are a Brahmin who says these things didn't happen, then I have a problem with you. Sri Iyer के दिमाग में ये घुसा ही नहीं. Sri Iyer को बोल रहा है, do you as a Brahmin say that these things didn't happen? He is saying, no, but Brahmins did so many good things. अरे ठीक है, did good things. Did your ancestors also do bad things? No, but we did good things. तो इंग्लिश ग्रामर अगर किसी को पता नहीं तो ये मेरा प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं है, जैसा दीपक का भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, अभिजीत मित्र का भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ओके. And this brings another very important point to my mind, that a lot of concerns that you have from people who you think might be casteist people, but they are saying that no, we are not casteist, we are just following tradition, etc. in that case, go ahead and ask them point blank questions, okay? On Twitter or whatever. Just mail them if you're really that bothered about them. Ask them point blank. Give them a hypothetical scenario. Let's say in this situation, let's say set up a Casteist situation and ask them, do you endorse this incident? And if they say that yes, it's great. Yes, it's great if a higher caste person pees in the mouth of a lower caste person. It's great. It's written in some dharma shastras I have read. Okay. If that is the case, then you get the guarantee that yes, in fact, that person is a fucking asshole and is a casteist. Okay. And I guarantee you, J. Deepak won't defend any such situation. Okay. Ask J. Deepak point blank that do you defend someone not being given water just in some village on some road just because he's from a lower caste? Ask him point blank. Is he going to defend it? Do you think he is? He is not. Therefore, they are not in any disagreement, okay? Then what is the fault from Kushal Mehra, Abhijit and Mitra's side? They know that Brahmins were never the only people who did the bad things. But there is the issue that they are making the point in such a way that they are laying the most blame at the feet of Brahmins. So that's a weird thing to do, because I know that they know that every caste and jati and varna had bad people in their fold, okay? I don't know what to do about that. But this is where J. Deepak stands, okay? According to me at least. Now, let me show you where J. Deepak confirms all my claims, okay? Let's go to Ashish Dhar's podcast now.
So...
And before I move on to this video, let me just tell you guys that there are 3 Indic-oriented, Hindutva-oriented channels or Hindu-oriented channels on YouTube which are most underrated in terms of the quality of content they give versus the amount of subscribers they have, okay? Upward, Kushal Mehra, and Nityanand Mishra's channel, man. What hilarious subscribe count. But 62,000 subscribers. What the fuck are you guys doing, man? Please go and watch these people's videos the most.
Now coming to another aspect of this debate, which is not, I mean, the connection is not very apparent, but it is there nevertheless, which is you are reclaiming temples, but at the same time, the existing temples are not free. So what would reclamation even mean without autonomy of temples?
No, it's not possible. Destroy Jati, destroy every institution, then we'll talk about it. What are you saying? You're Jativadi? I'm so sorry, I disagree with you. I think there's a fundamental mistake in your question. I completely disagree with you. I think you live in the Stone Ages. I'm sorry. One of the principled objections that I have to temple reclamation is, once you reclaim, your caste system will be back in the temple. What will you do then? I'm sorry, I have no interest in answering this question at all. Over to you.
I think one way to do that would be mass scale conversions would once and for all remove all the fear of reverting to that sort of system which they are.
No, but they'll also say that, okay, do you understand the problem with asking people to do ghar wapsi? They don't know what will be the status once they come back to the Hindu fold. You see, Russians never had this problem when they decided to convert to the Hindu fold under ISKCON. Nobody had this problem. Yeah. All the people who are visiting ashrams in Bangalore, who decided to actually come back to Hinduism in one way or the other, nobody had this problem. Some people will have a problem only because apparently Varna barrier is standing in the way. The Arya Samaji movement did not apparently give a response to this or an answer to this.
Guys, now, here is where J. Deepak is actually going to piss off a lot of trads here. Because see the lane he's taking. He's saying that if at all casteism, caste-based bad behavior is a problem, then you are already free to join movements like Arya Samaj, ISKCON. Because those people who, non-Indians who joined those folds, they never had this problem in their mind. They never had this query in their mind that what will be my Varna once I join. So, J. Deepak is giving a stamp that yes, even if you join those folds and you don't follow Jati Varna Ashram in any way, even then you are as Hindu as me. Okay, you are in the Hindu fold. You are just not that orthodox. ये तो बहुत सारे trads को भी गुस्सा दिला देगा. So you see, J. Deepak is not that trad casteist hero that people think.
All the Gayatri Parivar movements and other movements, which have significantly taken a different position from traditional orthodox position of Hindu Dharma, apparently don't provide a response to all of this. See, if your fundamental goal is to somehow attack the traditional orthodoxy in one way or the other, you will present it as a bogey for all sorts of issues and you'll invent problems where none exist. Okay? The fact of the matter is, whether traditional orthodoxy likes it or not or wants it or not, there have been multiple movements that have come out of the Hindu fold or within the Hindu fold at least for over 150 years, at the very least for 150 years, where they have provided certain alternatives. And those alternatives have made it possible for people from different parts of the world to embrace Hinduism. Surely, Julian...
And J. Deepak is endorsing that. He's saying it's fine. It's completely acceptable. What's the problem with that?
And those alternatives have made it possible for people from different parts of the world to embrace Hinduism. Surely Julia Roberts did not ask this question, what will I be once I become a Hindu? Right? Richard Gere did not ask these questions. I think it's a bogey. According to me, temple reclamation as a whole, as an umbrella, represents reclamation of occupied sites and freedom from state control. I'm not saying freedom from state supervision. There's a difference between state control and state supervision. People have to just read this one judgment, Subramania Swamy versus Union of India, which was delivered in the context of the Chidambaram temple, the Sabhanayaka temple, where the court has struck this fantastic distinction, which is to say, the state can retain the right of audit. The state can retain the right of supervision. And the state can take over for a momentary period, for a brief period where it sees mismanagement. But its first job is to give it back to the community as and when possible, while retaining the power of supervision.
So guys, Sai Deepak is giving Raita vibes today, okay, right? Isn't it?
Where it sees mismanagement. But its first job is to give it back to the community as and when possible, while retaining the power of supervision. So the inability of people to understand that state supervision and state control are two very different things is the central issue here. And if we specifically take the position that, dekho bhai, the state has every right to ensure that there is no caste-based discrimination in terms of entry and access.
अब बोलो, अब क्या होगा? The government has every right to make sure all castes are allowed to enter. ये जैसा दीपक ने बोल दिया है, on record, on camera. अब क्या बोलोगे? अब क्या जैसा दीपक अब रायता हो गया क्या? Now he makes one caveat, which is that as long as, let's listen to this.
As long as the traditions of the temple and access to Garbhagriha are respected.
Okay. I have no problem with the Garbhagriha issue because first of all, it is the tradition and of course, not just because of the tradition, because it's not even directly caste-based bad behavior के category में ही आता भी नहीं है because ऐसा नहीं है कि रास्ते से कोई भी random ब्राह्मण जाके घुस जाएगा गर्भगृह में, ठीक है? ऐसा नहीं है. Very specific people are allowed in the Garbhagriha. Secondly, I don't have a problem with people who are worshipping their based on their family, having it as their family profession, etc. Because one of the main arguments against casteism from commies se leke Hindutva, the anti-casteist people, has always been that you are not even a real Brahmin. You are not doing any of the things that a Brahmin is supposed to do. You are not living like how a Brahmin is supposed to live. Read the Manusmriti. अगर तुम ब्राह्मण हो, अगर मनुस्मृति पढ़ते हो, तुमको अभी लगेगा भाई मैं ही चेंज कर रहा हूँ अपना वर्णा, मुझे नहीं जीना है ये जिंदगी. तो कौन ब्राह्मण है भाई? हिंदू अवेकनिंग के लिए कुशल मेहरा ने ज़्यादा किया या ममता बनर्जी ने ज़्यादा किया है, बुद्धदेव भट्टाचार्य ने ज़्यादा की? इन लोगों को हम ब्राह्मण मान ले क्या? मगर अगर कोई फैमिली का वो पौरोहित्य का प्रोफेशन मेंटेन कर रहा है, सब जो टेक्स्ट पढ़ना है, जो ज्ञान उसको अर्जन करना है, वो सब कर रहा है, वो एक्चुअली ब्राह्मण का जिंदगी बिता रहा है, उसको मैं क्या बोलूँ? उसको भी मैं ब्राह्मण ना मानूँ? अजीब बात है. द ओनली प्रॉब्लम दैट माइट come out of this argument of Sai Deepak is that as long as the traditions are maintained, I have the state should in fact take over and look into whether everyone is being allowed to enter and that no one is being prevented on the basis of their caste, etc. Okay. Now the caveat here will be that when they were in fact not being allowed to enter, was that temple created in a place where these people were considered low caste, who were not worshippers of that place anyway, and therefore they were not the first movers and therefore they were never allowed to enter the temple anyway. Okay, maybe they gradually gotten into the Vedic fold and therefore but remained being considered a low caste person, but therefore even if they agreed to the Vedic culture or agreed to get into the Vedic culture, they never got entry into the temple. Or was it the case that one fine morning some पुरोहित decided भाई आज रात 12 बजे से कोई लोअर कास्ट पर्सन नहीं घुसेगा इस मंदिर में, और सबने अचानक मान लिया अगले सुबह से? ऐसा अगर है तो वो कैसे हुआ था? वो भी ट्रेडिशन के बेसिस पे ही हुआ था ना, या फिर कोई मतलब शास्त्र के बेसिस पे ही तो हुआ था? तो शास्त्र लाके अगर कोई ये फिर से जस्टिफाई करना शुरू करे तो उसको हमको हैंडल करना पड़ेगा. As far as Sai Deepak is concerned, his views are clear here. That's all I'm saying.
Will prevail everywhere. Okay? And the state will have the right to undertake random audits to see koi ghabla ho raha hai, kya ho raha hai.
देखो,
all these rights are actually preserved. The petitions which relate to the challenge to the HRC legislations are out in public domain. Nobody will be able to point out a single challenge where it says the state shall not have the right to prevent discrimination. Those aspects have been completely untouched in the legislations. So it's not as if these legislations have been challenged lock, stock and barrel. The Orwell...
So he's pointing out that these legislations have not even been challenged. कोई जाके बोल नहीं रहा है कि नहीं एक ऐसा लेजिस्लेशन डालो कि इससे और शूद्र कोई मंदिर में ना घुस पाए.
Provisions where the state has exclusive and exceptional powers to inveigle itself into the institution at the expense of the community's autonomy are the provisions which have been challenged. Because the traditional understanding for us, if you were to truly follow what the Constitution wants under 25(2)(b is, the community shall control this with the clear caveat that the formerly depressed classes who were denied entry to temples shall not be denied access anymore. Okay? At the same time, the religious denominational aspect of the temple shall be preserved. The hereditary rights of Archakas shall be preserved.
Yes.
Okay. And you will have a trust-based composition where the community chips in to manage the secular affairs of the temple without altering or changing the religious aspect of the temple. That is the simple funda here. कहाँ है solution? कहाँ है solution? Alternative legislation कहाँ है? भाई problem में ही solution है because there are other templates. You should just go through the 1920 template of the Hindu charitable legislation that the Britishers introduced. That was a much better template than the 1959 version that is still in operation under the TNHRC. So take a look at the predecessor versions. Take a look at how the Gurudwara Act has been functioning. Take a look at what you're willing to extend even to the Waqf for that matter. I can understand when if there is absolutely no legislative example outside of this and there is a vacuum outside of this. भाई आपके पास इतने सारे compare and contrast exercises and tools हैं. So look at the excuses being created. Where is the alternative? What will happen if the state gets out? The Varnashrama Dharma system effectively stands in the way of conversion.
You see now Desai Deepak's problem with his Twitter debates. Exact these things, same things were asked to him. He did not feel the need to respond to them because he thinks चलो तुमको फालतू में accuse करना है तो मैं उत्तर दूंगा भी नहीं. That's the issue here. That's why Twitter debates are a low IQ debate to begin with, and therefore let's listen to these things.
All bogies, absolute bogies. Tell me who is actually following Varnashrama Dharma in their life these days? Is anybody following the Nitya Karma according to the prescription? The answer is a no.
0.1% of the population.
So who is actually holding a chabuk and saying, "Karo, warna tum Hindu nahi rahoge"? It's left to you ultimately. It's left to your own devices. As simple as that. The ones who are wedded to a particular institution and the traditions associated with the institution are the ones who continue to follow it. Everybody else says, "It's my life." As simple as that.
No, and
So again, that famous claim also gets reinforced here that no one is living their life according to their varna anyway. If you even want to do the things in your life that like me reading Rig Veda, not being Brahmin, okay, although I'm from the third varna, so I'm allowed technically anyway. But even if I read them and discuss them on my live stream, who is going to come and stop me? Okay, unless it's some absolute stupid criminal, okay. तो वैसे भी तो क्रिमिनल को हैंडल करने का तो बहुत सारा लिस्ट बाकी है ही, तो अगर उसमें भी एक ऐसा कोई पागला चौदह आ जाएगा, मगर ये तो ऐसा नहीं है कि पूरा का पूरा 4.3% इंडिया का ब्राह्मण कम्युनिटी आ जाएगा मुझे आप ये सर्तन से जुदा करने को. तो प्रॉब्लम किस प्रॉब्लम का हम बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? तो बाकी क्या रहेगा प्रॉब्लम? रास्ते में बवाल करना, किसी को गाली दे देना, ये सब. चैट पिटिशन टू हेल्प हिम क्विट स्मोकिंग. क्या मुझे? अच्छा, Anand Sridhar is saying, sorry, almost no one is studying why outcasting happens and why were some other communities made outcast. This relates to anthropology. Look at the outcasting of the Yazuka community. The outcasting of actual not elite military personnel in Chinese traditional society. Again, is consequence of the anthropology of that society. Yeah. And is that outcasting happening one fine morning? That does happen because of some bad thing done by one person from that group or the leader of that group, etc. But also, some people were never in the caste system to begin with, like Panchamas. The people who did not want to subscribe to the Nagara or Grama way of life. People who never wanted to come out and live in, come out of the forest, okay. Because ऐसा तो नहीं था कि तब मतलब नगर, ग्रामा और फॉरेस्ट में ऐसा बहुत कुछ ज़्यादा डिफरेंस है, ऐसा तो नहीं है, ठीक है. अगर तुम ग्राम में रह रहे हो, ठीक है, या फिर तुम नगर में रह रहे हो और तुम राजा महाराजा नहीं हो, तब तुम्हारा घर क्या है? मिट्टी का घर है, फैन वगैरह ऐसी नहीं है, मच्छर काट रहा है, पूजा कर रहे हो, यज्ञ कर रहे हो, यही सबका ही जिंदगी है. तुम जंगल में रहो, ग्रामों में रहो, नगर में रहो. तो अब तो डिफरेंस ज़्यादा है, इसलिए लगता है अरे ब्राह्मणों ने उनको ईवल करके टेस्ला चलाना नहीं दिया नगर में रख के और जंगल में रख दिए भोसरी के. अरे तब तो डिफरेंस ही उतना नहीं था. Okay, let's see. You cannot recite but can read as per trad if you are Shudra, imaginary condition. Yes, but I'm saying that, as Desai Deepak is saying, I am going to read it. I'm going to discuss it. I'm not going to pronounce the shlokas anyway because, first of all, if it's written in one because Sanskrit sentence words are this big, right? I think in that case, the ISKCON books are the best in terms of how they write the words. Okay, they are broken up into 4 or 5 pieces. But my Bengali Rigveda has this big sentences. So if I start reading it, it will take me 10 minutes to finish the word. So I'm not going to read that anyway because it's going to be a bullshit live stream, okay? Because it's going to be absolutely horrid disrespect of the way of reading that Sanskrit word. That's why I'm not going to read it. But if I did, who was going to stop me?
जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनी